What's happening, everybody? Bones98. Continuing on with our playthrough with Dark Souls, and here I am in the Painted World of Ariamis. And if you're wondering how I ended up all the way here, coming from the Gaping Dragon, well, I've run into a couple of technical difficulties. One of them is my mic not working properly in the last video, and me not knowing that I didn't have the video recording as I was playing through and going from the Gaping Dragon all the way back to Anor Londo, going to the Painted World of Ariamis, unlocking the doors and doing a bunch of stuff. So if you're wondering how the hell am I getting directly to Crossbreed Priscilla, well, it's because in between the videos I was actually doing all that stuff, taking care of business, and forgot to even record. But here I am. I'm in human form and just trying to get done with a few things, you know, before I end up leaving the world. Hopefully it gets Sanctus. I want to get that Sanctus armor. So I'll try to get Dark Wraith, what's his name? King Jeremiah to invade my world. Oh shit, totally forgot that I didn't have the Estus Flask equipped. Let's see, is this guy gonna come here? Let's just kill him and then we can heal up. Boom. Equip. Oh shit. Equip. Alright, there we go. So now we just gotta walk around and wait for King Jeremiah to spawn. Oh man. I'm gonna stop talking and I want you guys to hear the weird sounds in the background. It's crazy with Dark Souls, check it out. Especially that noise. I hate that freaking invasion noise. I don't know why, you know. Everything will be quiet and then you hear that, next thing you know you get invaded by another player. I mean, this guy's no deal, big deal, like that. Boom! 2 hits. Kill the guy, right? But when I get invaded by other players, it's a big pain in the ass. And I'm surprised that I actually haven't been invaded in this world, considering this is the second most popular place that people go and do invasions in. Don't know why, but it just happens to be so. So we got a bunch of souls, let's just level up. I'm trying to get my intelligence and faith up, simply because of the fact that I want to be able to use the lightning spear, and I also want to be able to wield the great sword of Artorias. And actually in between videos I ascended the cursed great sword of Artorias, I think. I think it's the cursed one. I'm not sure. Maybe somebody could correct me. But it's actually the broken sword that I leveled up to +10 and then had it and like turn into the great sword of Artorias. So here we are. We have these little burning butthole guys. See, I missed there. And it's because I'm trying to keep my distance so I don't go toxic. He didn't die. Run! Fuck, I'm already toxic. Yeah, sometimes like I'll have really good luck and kill him and be able to dodge before I can end up being toxic, but I guess that didn't go so well for me. Ugh. And here's one of the things that I tried to skip Ariamis for, and it's these stupid Raven characters or enemies. They inflict a ton of damage and they're actually pretty fast. Holy shit, I'm getting gangbang. Move, dude, move. Boom. Boom. my Angus was not peppered. So start back up. We get our souls back. Oop. What a great way to start. Got my ass kicked. Missed the swing. Let's just move on and get to the part. Because I want to get Velka's rapier and I want to get her uniform. Now, I was doing a little bit of reading on the forums, not on the bodybuilding.com Dark Souls forum. Actually, there's a thread on bodybuilding.com for Dark Souls, and there's also another thread, you know, focusing on Dark Souls 2. They both have their own respective threads. But I was doing a little bit of reading with... Oh, and by the way, here's where you get the Dark Ember. So if you want to ascend occult weapons, just come up here, go around, and find them right there. You'll see that Andre of Astora looking statue. And that's actually one of the reasons why I also debate that Andre of Astora is not the son of Gwyn. You know, a lot of people say, oh, it's the beard and the hair that makes people think that, you know, Andre of Astora is the son of Gwyn. Nah, I don't think the son would be as old as, you know, the father. It has to be Solaire. Simply because he's been chasing his father, and if you save him from being killed by the sunlight maggot, what does he find in the end? The sun. The first flame. Think about it, right? Like, this is the crazy shit, like, I've been trying to tell people. What created the first flame? Where did the flame originate? The sun. And what is he going for? The sun. Well, and then there's the first flame. So, that's my thing. You know, FromSoft, they're kind of weird with lore. You know, like, they're tricky little mofos. So that's why I'm saying that Solaire is the son of Gwyn. Simply because of the fact that even though he's relinquished himself from being a god, or a, you know, demigod, I think he's just a god, right? You know, relinquished himself from his deity status, and became undead. But yet at the same time, he was a very skillful warrior. You know, very powerful. Nothing about his armor or sword was fantastic. I mean, the sword of the Black Knight, you know, does more damage than, you know, Solaire's Sunblade. I'm thinking that, you know, Solaire is the son of Gwyn. Has to be. And also, there's an interesting thing too. Now that we're here at the Painted World of Ariamis, there's this lore, you know, about the Painted World of Ariamis. And I read somewhere that was something really interesting. And someone said that the Painted World of Ariamis was a place where they hid things that were a threat to the gods, and that was the interesting thing that they brought up. Because one of the things that, you know, led me to believe this was, first of all, Priscilla, her dagger having life drain abilities, right? And another thing too was the occult or dark ember. Now, the occult weapons are the ones that actually inflict a ton of damage on the gods, on the deities. So if you're fighting Gwyn, if you're fighting Gwendolyn, occult weapons would inflict the most damage on them. So I'm thinking that they hid these treasures, in order for these things not to escape and be used against them. Same thing with Priscilla. Something that's very odd about her appearance is that she's very humanoid-like. I mean, she looks very human. You know, her face, you look at her feet, you look at her hands, you know, looks like a human. And there's one little weird thing about her. Some distinct markings on her face, the color of her eyes, the color of her skin, the color of her hair, and the tail, right? And then there's also debate about whether or not that's fur growing out of her. Well, we're gonna take a look right now. But I don't know whether or not I should fight her right now because I don't have any SS flasks. But there she is. Take a look.
Who art thou? One of us thou art.
For some reason,
if thou hast
I am thinking that she is the daughter of Gwyn and Seath the Scaleless. First of all, she's albino, very pale, has blue eyes. Grey eyes. Fuck it. You know what? Let's see how much else we have. Yeah, we gotta kick her ass. There's her tail right there. Let's see. Look at her feet. And we'll go back to the whole thing. Should we skip? But yeah. Look at her eyes. See how they're gray, like the albinos?
Why dost thee hurry toward thine death?
Her skin very pale. I mean, basically she's albino. And if you really look at some of the lore, there are even descriptions about Seath being the albino dragon. One of the things about Seath, though, is that he's considered blind. And I'm guessing one of the qualities that Priscilla got from Gwynevere was basically her humanoid form, and Priscilla also got some things from Seath. I mean, albinism, the tail. I don't know where she would get the powers to disappear, though. That's a mystery. That's something I'm trying to figure out. And I'm also wondering, why would they have her in the Painted World? Could it be that they didn't want her escaping, and this child bringing shame to the noble, the honorable of Anor Londo? Could be. Gonna take a dive. Hopefully I got a little bit of health so I can get into the little bit of health. See if I can make it to the fireplace. Let's see. Oh my god. I got killed. With over 50,000 souls. Do I start back in Ariamis? No? Oh. What's that? I just walk across the bridge. Let's see if I can get it from there. I'm gonna take the elevator down. And then we're just gonna cross the bridge and go pick up our souls, and then we'll call it a day. Hopefully we won't die. Let's check and see if there's a switch here. Uh-oh. Oh god. Should we go in the minaret? Nah. I got a better idea. Yeah, I think this is a better idea. I'm just gonna go Duke's Archives and warp to the bonfire over at the Dark Moon Covenant's fire bonfire. I always like to do that twisting thing every time I'm on this elevator, because I just find it weird how the base of the elevator moves, meanwhile the platform on top doesn't. There's actually a comment I was reading about that on YouTube, and I was like, I'm glad I'm not the only one that noticed this, except this guy made a big deal out of it. He's like, the physics are unrealistic. Like, this guy went nuts, you know. The tone, like the way he was just using words and typing up that comment. It's like, you know, this guy was fired up. Like he had a personal vendetta against, you know, FromSoft. Crazy mofos. And luckily, I guess we didn't film this part, but I got rid of the boys, and there's a poor soul who died at the hands of that fat pig. No big deal though, because even if you got rid of the first one, there's a second one waiting for him right at this area. So here we go, bonfire. We're about halfway done into getting my souls back. Now all I need to do is make sure that I could stay alive for the other half. So here we are, Dark Moon Covenant bonfire. And we're gonna go upstairs, back into the room of the painting. I'm still trying to figure out who Ariamis is. Somebody said it was a name of a dragon. That Ariamis was a dragon who knew how to paint. Who knew how to paint and make these recreations come true. Or basically whatever he created, whatever he painted, became a world of itself. You know, like, I swear to God, man, Dark Souls fans have this deep level of critical thinking. Like, they had this crazy ability to use critical thinking skills and come up with different interpretations of lore and description, and sometimes come up with their own theories. It's kind of like conspiracy theories, you know, like Dark Souls fans can take maybe something that didn't really have much of a story and be able to make it into something rich and full of story. You know, what if the Dark Souls guys, you know, FromSoft didn't really care about the story, they just want to release a game, right? And what if the fans were what created the story? You know, that's a question that you want to ask yourself, is like, you know, maybe the Dark Souls community is responsible for actually giving some life into the Dark Souls story. Or maybe it was the intentions of the Dark Souls developers to let players find the story, to create the story. It's, after all, it's a role-playing game, so maybe you want to create your own story, right? So you never know. And maybe because of the community now with Dark Souls, I mean, you look at Epic Name Bro, and you look at Vati, you look at Silvermont, you look at, you know, the other YouTube user, her name is Quaylog. Great lore videos. And so I'm pretty sure that they're the ones who, you know, come up with some really good videos and explaining the lore. You know? And I guess the developers took note of it and said, well, they do a much better job telling the story than we do. Might as well pick up what they've contributed and move on from there and create Dark Souls 2. You know, unfortunately, I still haven't gotten Dark Souls 2 because I'm waiting for it on PC. It's almost the end of March, and I'm waiting for April 25th to come around so I can play Dark Souls 2 on my computer. I skipped out on the PlayStation 3 version. I kind of regret it, but also at the same time I don't, because looking at how beautiful Dark Souls looks like on computer, I definitely like to see what it would look like, you know, for the second installment on computer. Yeah, I know a lot of people say it's all about gameplay, it's all about, you know, the mechanics, and it's like, yeah, I agree with them. You know, that's why I'm a big fan of Dark Souls, but to be honest with you, I put about equal importance into visuals, you know, because I want something that's going to bring me into the world. I don't want some pixelated shit, you know, that's so early 90s, late 80s, mid 80s gaming. It's like, I have a PlayStation, you know, I have a Super Nintendo, I have a Nintendo, I have a Sega Genesis. It's like, I don't want that anymore. If I do, I'll buy an indie game. And there are other indie games that do a damn good job at, you know, creating rich gameplay with, you know, 8-bit visuals. But, you know, when it comes to Dark Souls, I think Dark Souls, it just, the gameplay mechanics and the combination of the visuals is what makes the game. So, I'm gonna leave it here. I'm basically gonna level up, bring up my strength, bring up everything. And until then, I'll see you guys next time.